don't use the use statement, notice everywhere where I use the table, I have to qualify it, which is okay, right? So the table in this one is called PBA donuts underscore PK. PK stands for primary key, right? So just to kind of keep it separate from the donuts table you already have. Remember, we've already worked on the donuts table. In that table, we already had a field. We said that the donut name can act as a primary key. We were okay with it because in a particular, if I was only doing an application for, so for example, Tim Hortons, they don't name their donut. I mean, the names are unique. No two donuts will have the same name. But if it was an application about all donuts in the world, right, then there could be two, and you could say, oh, this donut is available at Tim Hortons also, and this is available at this place also, and so on and so forth. Starbucks also, and so on. So there the name will not work. There you can't say, oh, the name will be unique. Okay. So what I've done in here is I have kind of, so we'll do this. Remove this primary key from it. You can just say not null. I've picked up what you had. This is the script that you already have. If you have it, you can open it if you like it that way. But this is the script that we already have, and I want to do some changes in it. So I created the table, and you know what? I couldn't find a primary key, or I forgot about it, which I shouldn't at all, because that's the first thing, the first rule, that every table must be normalized, must be in the first normal form. That is, every table must have a primary key, which is not null and unique. So keep in mind, we've said that not null, you cannot add null values, but it allows you to add a blank. So, but only one type. You can't add more than one records with the blank field. So blank is a valid value for donut name. I mean, there's no way that you can say, oh, it cannot be blank. So I've kept it at not null, but I've not made it the primary key, right? Nothing else. Just so that you know, there is also a constraint. It will depend upon how it has been set up on your laptops. You can also say something like unique key. If I'm not, yeah, so there are no syntax errors, right? This combination also makes it a primary key. So there is a unique key constraint. This is a constraint because it's constraining your data. You can't put a field in it. So there is something called unique key also in MySQL, and the combination not null and unique key makes it a primary key, right? If you kind of think of it, what is a primary key? It is not null and it is unique. So that combination can be done this way also. So this is available. If it is giving you a syntax error on your machines, it could be that your database engine is different. So I'm not sure if you've heard of database engines, and you've come across when you were reading the manual about something called InnoDB, right? InnoOODB, and there are other engines. It's a little bit complicated. It's more to do with, I mean, the structure of the database engine, but it's there, right? So if this works for your system, you know that there is a way of making a particular field unique, if you like. So you may not say not null, but you can always say unique. So there is this constant available in MySQL. And this combination is actually the primary key, if you think of it. Anyway, having said that, you know, last time we did primary key and MySQL doesn't behave too well at all. It was allowing you to put null and it was automatically changing it to the next key in sequence. So it's not so, I mean, there are some certain drawbacks in MySQL just because it's, I think, open source. Yes?
Can we use the primary key and the unique key?
No, doesn't make sense. I haven't tried it, but logically it doesn't make sense. Because a primary key by default, that's its definition, is unique and not.
No, like we can use.
Oh, you mean in the same table? Yeah. Yes, you can. You can have one primary key and maybe another field. You want to say that this field will be unique. You can say unique key in front of it. Because unique key is not a primary key. You know, there are two different constraints. If I add not null with it. If I don't add not null, then I can put null value. I mean, I can put null values, but how many null values can you put? Only one, because it's still unique, right? But the combination acts like a primary key. But yes, to answer your question, and I think I can show you right now. So if I make this the primary key, as we had it before, yeah, that can be done. That's not a problem. A table can only have one primary key. That's for sure, right? You can't repeat that. You can't do that. But your question was, can I do a unique? So I'll kind of go unique here, though it is not, but anyway. And there's nothing that stops you from this. This is perfectly fine. But if I add the not null, kind of, can it put 2 and 2 together and say this is also a primary key? No, it's fine. You can do that too. As long as you don't use the primary key word again. The difference of a primary key is on the primary key, the database engine creates an index to make it can have one primary key, you can have more candidate keys that are as good as primary key, but in one table you can only have one primary. But you can create indexes on the other candidate keys, right? And you learn about this in your advanced course. So you will say, oh, so in one table you can use the word primary key only once. But you can have more candidate keys. Maybe, though it doesn't make sense at all, maybe there was another field that could have acted as primary key. That becomes your candidate key. And the use of these keys is that you can create indexes on it. On the primary one, it is automatically created by the system. But you could create indexes. And how do indexes help? They are sorted values, right? So they help you to search data quicker. So they're improving time. And that's what is important in a database. Keep in mind, access time is of value, like it is of utter importance in a database. Because you're going through tables and tables of trillions of records and you're searching for something. So you can create indexes on candidate keys. But yeah, even that combination, I don't see a problem, but of course I can't run it because I don't have unique values in my donut type. So I can't run to see if I have logical errors. But syntactically, so I can't say for sure. I'll have to create a table that has that as unique, and then I can see if it is giving me problems in running it. But syntax-wise, it looks okay, right? So this combination is what it is. So I'll come back to where I was, and I'll kind of remove this. And if you want the donut name not to be null, we'll actually add not null. But notice there is no primary key in my table. So you created this table, you forgot to make something as a primary key, or you didn't think about it, who knows, right? It was somebody who didn't know what to do. And then it was a script and you ran it and your donuts were added, the table was created, and you had, there can be millions of records for donuts, but okay, you have many records, you don't want to run the script again, but you want to alter the structure of this table, right? So anytime you want to alter the structure, so this example is going to show you how to create or add a primary key. So, and you will notice here are my comments. So what have I done? I've added some data. I've done a select. I've described my data, right? And then why do I have to describe? So after the alter, I'll have it again. So therefore I need it. And then I inserted some values. And you know what? Remember, this was working with primary key. It automatically gives it the next value. So I don't like that behavior, but it does. So I can't do much about it. Now it will not work because I've said it is not null. So if I run this script, which of course will give me an error at that statement. So, rating is truncated at row 6. Where did I make a mistake? Row 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 9. Oh, yep, definitely. 9 is not allowed, right? So 9 is not allowed. So we must have done something in this script before. So what are the values? Still 5. You can give it a 5. Let's see. I think the not null should give me a problem now. When it is a primary key, it just says, oh, I'll do it for you. And I don't like that behavior anyway, but can't do much about it. It doesn't matter. See here, unknown. Oh, now what? That's a different one. Insert. You know what? I have kind of taken up, what was it called? Wasn't it called donut cost? Okay. So where is it? Insert into. Do you see donut cost here? Because I took your structure and I added my old data. Please see that you make these changes and you'll know it. I mean, you can see what is happening. Let's try to run it again. It still says the same thing. Okay, so donut cost is somewhere else also. There it is. I must have changed the name afterwards. Sorry about this. Didn't even run it. I thought, oh, let me give them their old structure. Again, there is another one somewhere in insert. How many times have I inserted it? Where else do you see it? There it is. I didn't know I had used it so many times. Okay, that makes sense now. The ID is making sense because we haven't yet added it. So where is the ID? Okay, so this will not run because we haven't made changes. Till here it will run. I should have commented this too. I wasn't planning to run it before I made the change. Okay, so ID is not there. Okay, there we are. Right, so, and you haven't seen the show command yet, but I'll tell you what it is. So table gets created and I couldn't check null because it was in my ID. Okay, so let's try this now. Okay, now. So the table is ready. you've seen this table before. I copied the structure and I didn't change the name, and that was my problem. Anyway, you can make those changes that are not big. So there is no primary key in my table. I don't have a primary. I add some records, I insert some records, everything works. I select the records, it shows me all the records in my table, and it looks okay. Like there's nothing wrong in it. And then I realize that, you know what, my table should have a primary key. So there are two options. One is you change the structure right there, like you type it again and you run the script again. But that's not what we are looking at today. We are not saying, oh, I'll run the script again. I'll write a statement that will alter the table structure. And after the comments, write it. This is how you alter a structure, table structure. Go alter, as English would, right? Table. You're going to alter a table. Which table are you going to change? This table. Please see that you write it completely. I haven't used use anywhere. Okay. What do you want to do? You want to add a primary key. So under alter, it's just one statement, whole one. We don't put semicolons till we finish it. Now under alter, you want to add a field. So don't put a semicolon till the alter is finished. So alter can have add, modify, change, and drop. These are the four verbs that you can use inside it. I'm starting with add. So what do I want to add? I want to add a primary key, right? But what is the name of the field? Give it anything you like. I'm going to call it ID. Now you can say add, or you can say add column. If this makes more sense to you, it does make more sense to me because it says add a column. You can just say add, or you can say add column. Okay, what are the column you're trying to add? ID. What do you want to do with this ID? Give its description as you would do in a create table command. Okay, you want it to be an int. And if you're adding a field afterwards, you have to think a little. Can you add a non-auto increment primary key? No. Why? Because records are already added there. You already have some records in the table. The best you can do is, if there is already a field which you want to change to a primary key, good, that will work. But you can't say add a primary key of type character. You can't, because there are already records in the table that do not have that field. So anytime you want to add a new primary key, to a table, it has to be auto increment. Because what it will do is, for the records that are already present, it will automatically give a value, and any new records that you add, it will give you the value. So you can't add a non-auto increment primary key when you add it afterwards. So you forgot and now you want to add it. It has to be an auto increment key. So now just complete as if you were writing it in the create statement. Remember, this is what we did last week. We said int, any int will do, long or short or whatever, any type of int will do. It is an auto increment field and you want to make it the primary key. That's what you will say. Right, and that will create a new field called ID. It will be auto increment in nature and it will become the primary key. Now put your semicolon. So the semicolon in an alter statement doesn't come with every line. It is one statement. Altered. So semicolon is a terminator, a sentence, a whole statement terminator, not a line terminator, a statement terminator. So I've kind of written two statements and you say, okay, what if there is a key and I want to make it a primary key? Like I want to make donut name as my primary key. It's available, you can do that. All you have to say is, I'll give it to you, though it's not logic, it's not what we are using, but you could have done this. You could have said add, and which key do you want to make your primary key? You want to make your primary key as your donut name. Was it donut name? I think it was donut name. Yeah, there it is, donut name. Okay, so let's do both ways so that you can see. Okay, so let me do one by one. Let me comment this out first. There. So if you forgot to make a primary key, but donut name was the primary key, that's the one I wanted to make, you could do it this. It will become your primary key. Right? But you have to be careful about these things. Why? Maybe you didn't care about it being unique when you have inserted records in it. Maybe you gave the same name to two donuts. You'll have problems then. Because what happens of the records that are already in the table? You have to think about it. Right? So if I wanted to do this, then I have to be sure that my donut names are unique and not unique. So there is too much work if you want to say, oh, what do I do now? The easiest way is to create a new primary key which is auto increment. You're safe. Nothing can go wrong. With this, something can go wrong. And what is that something? What if by chance I had something called apple and apple twice? then I'm saying now make it the primary key. It will say I can do it. Right? This will run. This is okay. There is no big deal in this. So let's run this one for you. Let me run it for you. Oh, here. Oh, that's apple fritter too. Okay, let's see. Run this. And I'll show you the two things I want to show you. Okay, now the two things that I want to bring your attention to. That's the structure of your table before I altered it. Right? So notice how you have donut name, donut type, donut cost, rating. That's their types. Can it be null? No, 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 yes. Is any of them the primary key? No. Because I didn't make it the primary key. Now I've altered my table and I show the describe table again. Notice how I have the primary key. So you can add a primary key afterwards, just like that. You can just say add primary key and it will work. And it is working for you because all my fields are unique. Donut name doesn't repeat. But let's try to now do this. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to change this apple. So before I change its structure, so it became the primary key. There was no big deal in it. By adding this statement, I made it the primary key. But now let us try to do something. Let me just for the heck of it, make this also as apple. Now I have two records in my table, which have the same donut name, apple and apple. And I'm trying to alter my table and say the donut name is my primary key. Let's see what it does. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to run it again. And there it is. It says you can do that. So even after, you have to be careful. If you want to make a field that already exists as a primary key, please ensure that it is unique and not. And that you haven't done anything wrong with it. But I did apple and apple. So then it says, no, you can't do that. And it's making sense. You can do that. Now you're saying, oh, I've changed my mind, make it the primary. But before it was okay, the script was running because I had an apple fritter. So if you want to add a primary key, there are two options. And the two options are make a field that is already present a primary key, which I've done now. This is one way of doing it. Just say, oh, that's my new primary key, and it will work. As long as it doesn't have a null value and it's unique. I mean, I already had the not null here, so I'm safe that way. But I never said it was unique or anything, right? Now, the other way where you can always be sure that things cannot go wrong is to use this. This way you can never go wrong. Why? Because it will create an ID for you. It will make it auto-increment. For the records that are already present, it will put 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. And for the new records, it will kind of go. So now you can add a new primary key if you want, or you can make an existing field a primary key. Whatever is the requirement, you know how to do it now. So let's run it again. And we'll again look at the structure. I want to bring again your notice to the structure of the table. So that's the table before anything, like normal table, right? I say, okay, give me the structure. That's the structure. I change the structure. And notice how it has added a primary key. Notice this last field got added. And now look at the table again. It was smart enough for the records that were already present in the table. It gave 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So you didn't have to do anything at all. So that's safe. Like you don't have to worry. You just added a new field and the new field definition. And this is just for your information. I have shown the create table command. So sometimes if you want to copy, you can show the create table command and do it. Yes, Bradley.
I keep getting an error every time I run this.
What is the error?
No database selected. Select the default DB to be used.
Exactly. So it is saying there is no database that has been selected. So do you have a, did you take my script and run it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it should have created it. Are you connected to your local system? Are you connected?
Yeah, I'm in localhost. I have an internet connection.
Okay, I'll see.
I've been following along closely.
Okay. Then you'll have to wait. I'll look at it. Right? Okay. So that's the safest way of doing it. That's how you can do it. And now, did you notice something? The ID is coming as the last field. Some programmers like to see their primary key placed as the first field. Not necessary. It could be anywhere. It doesn't matter. Columns are not recognized by positions. Columns are recognized by their names. But if you want, there is an option. You can go first with it. And it will be placed at the first position. So MySQL gives us some option. There is first, there is after. But other databases also say last or before. So So you'll have to see what is available and what is not available. Like I knew there was a before and there was a last, but when I tried it in my SQL, it wouldn't work. So I went to the alter table statement syntax and I saw that they don't allow, they can allow a first or you can say after a field. So you could have said after donut cost, for example. But you can't use before or last if you're familiar with other databases, if you've ever done that. If you haven't, you won't even think about it, right? But these are the two options. So all you have to do is go to the manual and see some. So I tried the last because I had heard it. And I had a syntax error, and I'm saying why it makes like it works. It just doesn't work in MySQL. Similarly, before doesn't work in MySQL. So you could say something like this. You could say after, and what do you want to place it after? Maybe I'm just doing it just to show you. Donut name. I had to find out what worked and what didn't work. There. So after is allowed. So you can place it after a field if you like. But if after is there, you would think, oh, before makes sense too. But before doesn't, it's not just MySQL syntax doesn't allow it. Right? So I'm only talking about this because you may see it in another Oracle or DB2 database. So there are more options. It's just that that option is not available here. So you have a first and you have an after. Those are the two options in MySQL. So don't forget about it, right? That's all you have to remember. Yes.
So basically, I run this. So
Just do a run, please. Now it's giving you a problem at alter table, not at the table. Okay, so it says, yeah, you've done something wrong. What do I have? What do I have at 58?
so it needs the comment.
I've already said that, right? A couple of times. I'm not using the use statement. So please see that you qualify your table name. Guys, don't make syntax errors. Things I'm showing, if you don't copy it, I can kind of go to each student and see how it is working. At least copy it right. Okay, so since I don't have the use statement, and I already said that, and my comments also say it, I have to qualify it. So that's how you alter a table. This is a simple one where you added a primary key. You already see that you can change something into a primary key. Now the one that we commented at the end. Remember how I said comment this out? Now you can uncomment it. You can insert 10 into it. And unfortunately, you can insert a null value into it. All it does, it gives it the value 11. We've already done this last week, that you can add null, though you would say, oh, it's a primary key, how you can do that. But remember, MySQL was you have a syntax. Oh. So what happens to null? Null becomes 11. I really don't like it, but see, null got added. Except that it changed null to 11. And that's just MySQL. You can do it in all databases. I can't remember, but I think DB2 will definitely can. Oracle and DB2 don't allow you. Because that's the definition. You're saying it can't be null. But MySQL says, oh, poor fellow made a mistake, let me rectify it. That's really bad. And that's exactly what you do, because it doesn't tell you, you kind of take it for granted. And that's bad, right? It's not the right way of doing it. So therefore, I always say, learn the right thing. Then you will not go wrong. Right? Why would you even think of going wrong? It's the behavior. I just had to show it to you because we talked about it last week. Okay, so the new statement you're seeing here, two new statements learned in this script. The alter table for the primary key, you added add column. So you've seen alter table with add column. And you also have seen, though we are not using it, you have also seen the add primary key. Right? We did that too. And this is your third new one in this script. This is called the show command. It is called show. And show simply says, I want to see the create table command. I want you to show me the create table command. So what does it do? It will take your create table command. Notice here, it takes your create table command and kind of prints it out. It's like printing out something. The use of this, you can take this statement and put it in another script and it will work. You don't have to type it in. It's like a copy and paste. Okay? And notice something else. Notice how it puts each of the field names also in quotes. That's how it does. By default, you will see it many times. We don't do it, but it is allowed. I haven't done it because it's too much work and I don't like it, but you can do this. You can do this if you like. You can put your field names, any names, all names, database names, table names, everywhere. You can put them in single quotes if you like. This allows, the advantage of this is, this allows you to use reserved names as names. which is really silly, but again, it says if it is in quotes, it's not a reserved word. So I use it. So you could remember how name was a reserved word? Do you remember you were using it in the student name when you began and name became blue and it allowed you to do it? I mean, it was fine. Now, if I put it in quotes, it won't even show in blue. You can use reserved words like this without kind of bothering you. I just don't like the idea of using reserved words. If something is reserved, leave it alone, right? The language is using it for a purpose, leave it alone. You can think of other names. What's the big deal? But that's why the show table command, notice how every name, whether it is the name of a table, whether it's the name of a field, or whether it's the name of a database which is not appearing here, it will always appear in single quotes. Yes. Column at row 6, yeah. Since 6 has 9 in it, and our guides are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I changed that. Yeah, I changed that right in the beginning. Yeah, that's okay. I changed the 9. So my script had a little problems, I realize now, because I copied the structure and I didn't change my data. So there were problems with donut cost. I had called it cost everywhere. And then there was a value 9 here, wherever, I think here, somewhere it was a 9 here in the hooray who. There was a 9, and 9 is not an allowed value, which is not bad. At least you saw something and you could do it. And I'm glad it did. I didn't think about it. I just changed it just a minute before I came. I said, let me give them their original structure. So I copied the structure, but I didn't bother to run the script. And my mistake, but not a big deal at all. Now you know the mistakes I made. So 9 is creating a problem because there is no 9 in my enumerated data type. The cost was creating a problem because I had called it cost and then I changed it to donut cost. So which was again a syntax error. So you have to learn how to read my errors also, right? Not only yours, but my errors also. Yes. Just I didn't want to start with it. I said there is no primary key in my data.
Yeah, I know, but just drop the table and then you can drop the table and then replay.
No, but she's not asking that.
Yeah, yes, yeah, I did this. Delete that
and we don't even have this. I don't have this. You already have this definition. I don't have it. I just have not one. I don't have unique key with it. I'm showing you how you do it. So don't do both these things together, guys. Don't do 59 and 60 together. You can't do it. You're adding a column ID, you're adding an ID and say this is my primary key. And then you're saying add a primary key which is the donut name. You can't do both of them together. A table can only have one primary key. So you're not dropping a table or anything. You don't do this together. Logically, it is wrong. A table can only have a primary key. So this was to show you that how you can use a field that already exists as a primary key. And this is to show you how you can add a new one. So you can put a note for yourself if you want. Add a new primary key. That's what we've done. That's what we've done here. And here, what have you done? You've kind of said, make an existing field a primary key. There are two ways available, whatever, but not both of them. Can do both of them. So you can put a note for yourself wherever, please. A table can only have one primary key. It's an important one. Right? So I'm not dropping tables. Don't do that. I was showing you the syntax. So both are available.
No, I was stuck on it because at the beginning you had primary key in the donut name.
Oh, so you dropped the whole table and not without changing the script is what you did?
No,
okay.
Originally I created primary key.
Oh, you created a primary key. Okay, I remember that.
Because there is a primary key, so I had to drop it.
Yeah, but this example says you don't have a primary key.
Yeah, but at the beginning you had, and I didn't hit hand.
Oh, okay. So you dropped it to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another way. But change the question. Change the script. The table does not have a primary key, right? That's what I want to bring to your notice. If a table does not have a primary key, how do you add a primary key? That's what we're doing in this script. So it had a primary key when I started. You're right, but remove it. Just remove it. So So the table does not have a primary key. Notice the table. You can put a note again for yourself. Create the table, does not have a primary key. That's the whole objective of this example. It doesn't have one, and now I want to make one. So you can make donut name if you want, just because we know it is unique, but I wouldn't do it until I'm really sure. So the safe way is line number 15. But keep in mind, I'm not a fan of creating ID fields because they don't relate to the data at all. You know what I mean? There is no relationship of the record with the ID in a sense. They are not part of the data. They are unique for sure, but they're not part of the data. So if you really wanted to identify a record, you should be identifying it with a field that is a part of data. But you know what? Many programmers do that. So it's a way of doing it. I leave it to you. If you can think of something already in the table, I go with that, but people have their own ideas. Everybody's, do whatever makes sense to you at that point of time. Okay, yeah. So we've looked at one verb, add column in a alter statement. It has add column, it has modify column, it has drop column, and it has change column. There are 4 verbs. Okay, so for the others, we'll start something new because it has a lot of crap in it. So you can save this and I'll put it on Blackboard, right? But again, keep in mind, only one primary key. Now please load the other one, the one that has everything. So open that file and it's the projects one. It is called, there it is, projects alter, yes.
Like the reason is there any other way to do that? Because already we had a primary key, right, in that table.
Oh, okay, so if you already have a primary key in a table.
Yeah, so I want to change. I don't want to use ID, I want to choose
another field.
So what should I do?
Okay, so
I
there is
any other way to?
No, there's nothing called, you can drop a column, but you cannot say remove a primary key. Yeah. There is a drop column, sure, but not remove primary key as we have an add. So if that works, which may not work because you don't want to drop the column, you only want to change the definition. Yeah. No, those are the only possible options. I can look up, but I'm almost positive that there is no remove primary key. Okay. Oh, just before I leave, remember how the last time I was saying that you may not start with 1? By default, it starts with 1. Do you notice? By default, it starts with, where is my 1? Oh, did I? Notice how it starts with 1 and that's its default nature. But there is a way to change that default nature also. Suppose you don't want to start with 1. This is how you do it. That's an alter table command too. So you can put a note for yourself. Want to start with, let's say, 100 instead of 1. What was it called? For ID. This is how you can do it. It's as simple as take your table. So please qualify the whole table. I don't have the use statement. And it's called auto increment. Oh, forgot my underscore. Auto increment is equal to, where do we want to start? 100. You could do that too. So it won't start with the default 1, it will start with 100. So that's another thing for alter table. You've seen another thing. You can do an auto increment of anything but 1. I wouldn't like to start with a negative number. But since it is a name, maybe it will allow you. Right? So let's try that now. So notice how I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. If this works, you should see which works. Oh, maybe after the alter then? Yeah, after the alter. So to the previous one, it has gone 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But anything that I add afterwards has gone to 100. This is a 10 because I inserted that value 10. And then there is 101. So that's if you want to change the auto increment. So that means even if I don't want to do anything else, but I want to start with 100, you can use this statement, alter table, whatever, auto increment is equal to 100 right after your create command. You can put right after your create command. And then even these ones will start with 100. So you can place it anywhere. I have inserted this record and then I said auto increment is 100. So after that it will be 100, 100, 100, 2 and so on. The 10 is me. I inserted that record called 10.
Can I see the command?
The command is alter table, auto increment is equal to whatever you want. So you're saying this is the new value of auto increment instead of like just start from 100 now. So if I had taken this statement and placed it where? Right after insert, right after create, like right here. Here, I can place it right here. What am I telling the system? Start auto incrementing from 100. So even before inserting, you will have to do it. But at this point of time, there was no auto increment. So that was not the right place to place it, at least here in this script. Right? So I only did it after I created the script. So where was it? Control Z, another one. There it is. So there was no sense placing it before because there was no auto increment. But that's what it does. Wherever it encounters, remember it's a sequential. This is sequential. Statements are being run sequentially. So it kind of, when it encountered this, before that you've already altered it and you've said, oh, that's my auto increment by making. So it gave 1, 2, 3, whatever, and after that any records you insert start from 100 because you've changed it here. So where you place it is from where you can change. Okay, that's like it can be done. You just have to place it at the right point because at this point there was nothing. I didn't place it here. So if I picked it up from here and placed it before the alter table command, that's okay too. So it will start working where you place it. I just placed it afterwards because I didn't have an auto increment. So nothing stops you. You could just take this and you say whenever, and that's kind of an odd, but anyway, you can place it here. And I'll kind of remove it from here. I don't want to because I want to come back and do it. So now auto increment, though it doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't think it should give a logical error because it's not hurting anybody. But anyway, let's see. Maybe it will say you don't have an auto increment. No, that's fine. Didn't say anything. But notice now what happened. Before I did it before I inserted it. See, I did it before I inserted my record. So it has started from 100.
Yeah, why did it just say 10 after one?
Because I have a record which I put a 10 in. Look at my script. Remember, MySQL allows you to manipulate it?
Yeah.
Again, a bad part, but there it is. I did that.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, I would keep away. But MySQL allows you to manipulate. It would be nice if it says, you know what? It's auto increment, I'll take care. And that should be the thing. Yeah, it's kind of like, but that's why it looks odd one, but we did it. And remember how I can even do this? How in the earth can a primary key be null? But it allows me, and again, MySQL says, oh, okay, you made a mistake, I'll make it 100 and whatever will be the next one. So these are bad parts about MySQL. But because they work, I kind of put them here so that you can remember that they work. Okay, so that you know that they work. I would leave it alone. Otherwise, what's the sense? If you're going to do so much headache with an auto increment key, why would you do it? So you can place it wherever you want. You've seen the difference. If I placed it before even I inserted the records, of course, it will say I'll start from 100. I didn't insert anything at all. And so that's how it started. If you don't place it here, but you place it after you've inserted some records and now you say, oh, I want to change the auto increment to 100, you can do it here too. So wherever you will place it, from that point onwards, it will kind of start working. That's all you have to remember. So you could have placed it before also, but at that point of time, there was no auto increment, and I thought I'll show it when I'm done. So that's another thing you can do with alter. Okay, now please open up the project's alter that you got at on Blackboard. So this is what I have. I'm going, oh, I haven't saved this. Oops, this is going in the wrong place. Let me do a save as. Yes, Bradley.
Yes, I'm having trouble with taking the alter table command coming before the order. I tried doing that just now, but it produced another error.
Okay, I'll look at it. If you try to do things that I'm not doing, then either you figure it out yourself or you have to wait to see me individually. Okay, because
I'll just follow along.
Yeah, if you've done what I've done, then it should not go wrong because mine is running. Okay, so I'll save it. What is it today? Wednesday. Donuts. And I'll pick this up too, so that it's in the right one. That's all I'm doing. Let's see this. Because you will ask, okay, so I'll remove the BB. The BB stands for blackboard, guys. That's all it is. So that I can differentiate between them, because I deal with 2 sections and my own practices and everything. It kind of messes me up. Project doctor. Okay, now let's see what this table is. It's, yes.
Again, you have show create table.
Yeah, show create table.
Same as description.
No. Description shows you the fields. Description is fields, right? The show table create command is a system out println of your show table, the create table command. This is a create table command. If you copy it from here and put it in Word or a notepad, it's a create table command. And what's the use? You can take it from here and put it in another script. People do that all the time. So they don't want to type the whole structure again and they need it somewhere else, they copy. That's the show. So you can show any command. That's what it does. It's more for copying, right? More than being useful. Describe describes the structure of it. What are my fields? What are its types? What is its primary? Is it a primary key, and so on and so forth. So description is different from show. Show is just a display. Okay. Okay, now let's come to this one. Now this is actually will do quite a bit. Okay, so notice what I've done. Uh-oh. No, we are good. We are good. I thought I gave you the answer. No. Okay, see what I've done. I have to, and the purpose is to work with the alter table command, use it to change the name of the table and add, modify, delete field descriptions. So that's the whole purpose. So these are my regular commands. Drop the database if it exists, create it and use it. Normal commands, right? So if you want, you can start putting comments if you like. It depends on you. The more you practice putting comments, the better you will become. No spelling mistakes, no grammatical mistakes, please. Oops, another one, existing. Okay, there. And this table, now again, I don't need it at all. I'm dropping my database. I don't even need it. But I keep it always in my script for people who work on DreamHost. And whether there's nobody in this section, the other section does all. There are 4 or 5 who are working. So I'll always keep it. Okay, and then you're creating the table structure. This is the structure. This is called the structure, just what you're creating. But show means show the command, right? Okay, so now kind of look at it. I have a database. My table name is not too good, but that's not a big deal. I want to change it to a new name. I can. It has a structure, and if I've used number, notice how number is a reserved word. And it is an int of size. Don't go with this 11. And some of you have used it in tiny int, so I put it here for you to see. But this is only for showing purposes. The 11 says how many digits to show. It has nothing to do, it has nothing to do with I need 11 bytes for it. Keep that in mind. It has nothing to do with that. Some of you have used it in the assignment. I don't know whether you just used it or you know what you're doing. Notice the name of my fields, bad. I haven't used any convention, no underscores, nothing. So somebody wrote this script, and of course it's not a good script and I want to alter it. You'll say, you know what, make changes here and alter it. That's not the purpose again. The purpose is to learn to use the alter command. Okay. Then I'm describing the projects and I'm saying show tables. So I'm not saying which tables, I'm saying show tables. So I'll show you how it runs. And then I'm saying the show create table command. So show tables will show all the tables. What are the tables in this database? So another new command at line number 25. Then I put some values into the projects table. Then I insert some more values and I forget to do a select. So do a select. Select star from, what is the name of the table? Projects. A wrong spelling, but that's what it is for now. If you run this, let's see what happens, right? So let's run this. So let's look at the results now. That's result 1. Oh, seems like I have an error. Why don't I see the table? Yeah, I have an error. Table projects doesn't exist. Okay, did I make a mistake in my name? Projects J. That's why. Okay, there it is. When I don't see the output, I know something has gone wrong. Okay, now this is what it is. Let's look at what I've done. Result 4 is describing the table. That's describe for description. This is the show tables command. All the tables in this database. I only have one, but all the tables in my database, just the names of my tables, show tables. Show the create table command. So that's the create table command. You can actually do a control C, it's there. You can say copy this row. You can open up whatever you like. I don't want to do it in Word because Word has its own problems. Oops. And if I paste it here, see there. And it has added a few things. Notice how it is using the my ISAM engine. So that's the default on my system. There are more engines. Read about this a little. There is another engine called InnoDB. And some statements work in one engine and won't work in the other. But unique was working, so that means I'm okay. So it works in ISAM for sure. It may not work if you have a INODB engine. And you say, how do I change it? With a set command. So it has added a few things here. Don't worry about that few things, but of course you should know what they mean. Engines, there are different engines in MySQL. You see one, MyISAM, and it's how it is. The difference between engine is how does it deal with fields that are primary keys and unique keys and so on. How does it create indexes and so on. That's what the difference is. There's another one for sure I know in MySQL. It's called InnoDB, INOODB. And then what you see after that, it says default character set let in one. Remember I said that's your default collating sequence, your default character set. So even if you remove this, it's running for you. But when you tell it to create a table command, it has added this at the end on its own. It's done it on its own, right? So those are just an engine. And read about them. So that's what this show table command does. And lastly, here is the table.
So engine depends on what?
No, a particular database will give you different engines. So my Oracle could be, you could have MyISAM and more engines in. So every database, relational database, you can set the engine that it needs to use.
So when you download it, you set.
No, that's the default. ISAM was the default.
No, mine is, you know.
Yeah, so that means, and do you have a Mac? So XAM is just setting it to, and how to change it? There should be a set engine command, and you can do it in an environment. So is your unique working? When you try to do unique, it is working. Okay. So that means it works in both of them. But I didn't change it. That's my default, but I can always change it by using the set command. So I just have to look up what is the set command. Remember, it's your environment. You set it whatever you like. And not only set it, you can also kind of just change it in a particular statement also. You have the option of changing it for the script, or you have the option of changing it wherever you want. So we'll have to look it up. I can't remember because I've never done it in the recent future. Oh, sorry, in the recent past. So notice it has added 1, 2, 3, 4 because I added it, and then I didn't give any value to the field called whatever did I call it, number, strange name. So it gave it a default value of 0. So very untidy table, right? 1, its name is not good. 2, how I've written the fields is not good. 3, I want to maybe change the fields, the types, the size of my fields. I can do whatever I like now with my alter table statement. So let's do it one by one. So we'll start from here. So I'll put comments what I'm doing. I'm going to first change the name of my table, right? And the name of a table is changed by the rename statement. Okay, so your first job is to change the name of the table. That's your first job. So you don't like the name of the table, you can change it to whatever you like. But I'm going alter table, and the old one was called projects with a K there, right? And I want to rename. I'll go caps just because that's what I've been doing. I'm going to rename this to, maybe I'll use my conventions that I've been using, TBL, and I'll use projects with the right spelling. Now to be on the safe side, I'll say, oh, I'm trying to rename to a different name. What if this table already exists? So remember to drop it before you rename a table. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise you can do it. But you'll say, oh, no. If there is a table by the same name, I don't want to drop that. I want to give this a different name. Then of course the error will come up and you will say, oh, that table already exists. So however you want it. Do you want to replace, if there is a table by that name, do you want to kind of replace it, drop it and use it? Sure. But you'll say, no, I don't want to drop any tables. I just want to create a new one in the sense I don't want to use an old name. Then of course, if you try to run this and a table already exists by that name, you will have a syntax error. But if you wanted to, what would you do? You would write your normal drop table command. If exists, don't forget your if exists. Otherwise, if it doesn't exist, it will give you an error. And which table do you want to drop? This one, because this is the new name you're giving it. There. So drop the table if it already exists. Again, this depends upon whether you need it or whether you don't need it. So if you don't need it, then remove it, and the renaming will, if it already exists, it will say, it already exists. I can't rename. Same as the same concept. You can't create a table twice. Same concept. So depending upon your need, you may require to delete it. So you can put a note for yourself, drop if it already exists. Right? This is again just what the application requires. So this one says, okay, I'm going to alter it. So notice rename command. Now your table will have a new name. And how can I let's do the show tables command. That will tell me it was renamed, right? So let's try this. Let's try the script one by one. We'll do one by one. And notice how it's called table projects now. So before, when I saw this, it was called projects with a JEK. And now after I've renamed it, it's called TBL_projects. So this is how you rename a table. Done? So that's another alter command. So we'll learn all of them one by one. Okay, my next job. What is missing in my table? My poor table doesn't even have a primary key. So let's add a primary key. You'll say, oh, but there is a number there which you could use. Could you modify that and just make it the primary key? Yeah, I could do that. We've learned how to do that too. But it's not kind of like, it's not auto increment. Can I also do that? Yeah, you can do whatever you like. So let's do that. So my step number 2. So I'll put a comment and then I'll do it. Okay. So change the name. You don't have to, but again, the more I show, the better it is. Change the name of the field of the ID field. Oh, it was called number, sorry. Why am I changing it? One, because number is a reserved word. I don't want to use it and I want to give it a better name. So let's change the name of the number field to, what would you like to call it? Project ID?
Yeah.
Will make better sense. Let's make it project ID. So let's learn how to do that. Okay. So again, now I'm doing it in different stages. Nothing stops you to write alter table statement once and then do whatever you want to do all together and put a semicolon at the end. My aim is to show you one at a time. That's why. Okay. So let's do the alter table. Oh, remember, it's not called this now. It's called this table now. Don't forget. So now when you alter the table, please remember the table is called this. You've changed it. You've renamed it. Okay. Okay. So now I want to change something. So the command is change. And I think it will work without it. Column. I like to just add the word column. I think it works without it. You can try. I can't remember. So change the column. What column are you trying to change? You're trying to change the column called number. So change is used when you want to change both the name and the type. That's when change is used. So you can kind of keep that in mind. Change is used or change column is used when you want to change the name. There's another one. It's called modify. That's why I'm kind of bringing this up. You want to change the name and the type. You'll say, I'm okay with int, but remember, I have to make it auto increment and so on. So I am kind of changing its type. Okay. So change the number from number to, we said we'll go to project ID. Old name, comma, new name, not comma, blank new name. So the number, this column called number will now be called project ID. And now just give its description as you want to change it. I want to keep it as an int. I want to make it an auto increment field. And I can make it the primary key right here. I don't have to use anything else. I don't have to say add primary key. I can do it right here. Do all the changes you want to do. If you don't want to do this, remember we've already done this. Remember we already did this, though we haven't used it. We can do this. But whatever you like. Primary key, what is it called? Project ID. Spelling is wrong. That's why it's not in blue. Something definitely has to be wrong if it's not color coded. What isn't it like? A semicolon because of that? No, doesn't like something. What doesn't it like? Doesn't help a lot. Syntax error, unexpected add. Oh, is it add? No.
Can you change and add? At the same
Yeah, I'm thinking, can I do that? Change and add?
time?
All I'm saying is change its definition to primary key, so it shouldn't be a problem.
I did put comma after. Yeah.
Oh, right, because I'm doing more than one statement. Thank you. That's the problem. Yeah, but remember this add is not, like, it's all it is doing is changing its, I mean, as I said, you would have done it right there and it makes complete sense. But this is add is not adding a column, it's just saying add this property. That's, if it was add column, then it was a little different, right? This is just adding a property. That's called add column. So you can do it this way, or if you want, you can do it right here. Nothing stops you. You can do it right here. You can kind of do it right here. You can just add the whole thing in one line. As if you were doing, kind of think, whenever I add a column or I change a column, I'm trying to add a kind of in the structure as you do it in create. That's exactly what I'm doing. So whatever you like, okay, you can add it right here and it will work. There is no problem. Hopefully there is not, if I can remember. Syntax is something that you keep forgetting if you don't use it for a while. So let's see, syntax wise, am I getting any problem? No, so you can do it either way. So check what, I mean, the syntax is, you just have to be careful. So don't forget the comma, which I did, and use either, not both, of course. Okay, so what did I do? I changed the name of my column called number to project ID, and I changed its type. The auto increment is kind of a type, you know what I mean? Like you've done things to it. So you will use change. Okay, now let's do more. I'm just, as I said, I'm just writing it so that I can show you. I want to change the names of the other two fields, of the big fields. And they were varchar 10, 50, and 10. And the type also. We'll give it a bigger type. That's all. Okay, so again, we'll do this, the same thing. We'll take it from here and we'll add it here. Okay, what do you want to do? Take that name, that odd name, description of project. Here, pick it up. Bring it here. Oops. What did I do? Didn't get the right one. Must have not got the right one. Control C. Change the column. This I'll need anyway, so I'll put it here. Okay, so the description of project needs to be called description underscore of project. So old name followed by new name, leaving a blank. Right? So the old name was description of project. I want to call it, I mean, you can change it if you like. You can say project description if you like. I mean, whatever you like. Doesn't really matter as long as you're using the rules, I mean, the conventions, and it's a good name. Usually people will not use things like off, in, because they're just, you know, like they're just prepositions. So they're avoided, but nothing stops you. You can. Okay, and the varchar has to be changed to 100 instead of 50. So you don't write the old one, you just write the new one. Okay. And the default was null. The rest of the definition, please include. If you don't want to change it, include it. Otherwise, whenever you change something, it just gets changed. So the old definition is lost. I had a not null here. The default was null, not null. The default was null. I added that definition here. Don't forget to keep what you want to keep. Change what you want to change. Don't assume that, oh, the old definition will still keep. You're saying change it. So if you want to keep something, repeat it here. If you don't want to, don't. You don't want to go with default null, remove it. You say, no, I need the description. I can't make it null. Then remove your null. Then you'll have to remove it, like literally remove it. Okay, now the next one, put a comma. Now change your second column. And I want to change the contractor on job to contractor name. And I want to change it to varchar 30. Let's do something here. Let me kind of not change it so that I can show you both of them. And the best way to see both of them is do a describe. 30. It was 10, I think. So the name has to be given. Now what have I said? Oh, spelling mistake here. There. So let me describe the table again. Remember, describe will show you the fields. what was the table name? TBL projects. Don't forget, now it is called TBL projects. Don't call it projects with a K. As soon as you rename it, after that it is in sequence. It has changed. Try doing the other and you should get an error. The show tables was just to show you that name has changed. So do I have a describe before? I have a drop table. Oh, I have a describe. Okay, so I have a describe here and then I have a describe at the end. Let's see the difference. Okay, see the difference. Run it. Run your script. So, seems like I have an error. What did I do? Table, describe projects. Did I copy and paste? No. Okay, which line is it now? Table, DB projects doesn't exist. Where have I used it? Alter the table, add the primary key, alter the table, describe the table. Did I have it? Yeah, but that's before I even change it. Okay, I must have it highlighted or something. Who knows? It has to be something. Can be. It's always the programmer. Okay, so that's your table before. Notice how you have null, no, yes, yes. So keep in mind the nulls and the default. What did I change? Did I change anything of the table? Did it? Okay, it had a default of null. So notice it is saying default of null and default of null. Let's come to the last one. We just described it again. Oh, it has kept the old one. Oops. Okay, so you don't need to repeat it then. It has kept the null. I was thinking it will not keep it. It means you have to give everything. I didn't change the contractor name. I said, oh, I forgot it. I mean, I just did it on purpose, but it is still keeping the default. So anything you don't want to change, you don't have to worry about it. Doesn't make sense, but can't do much about it, right? Because change means change, and you should actually just repeat the definition. You should just repeat the definition. Does it also happen with not null? I'm going to test this because this is kind of a little irritating, but anyway, doesn't matter. If that's how it is, then we'll have to just learn to do it that way. Let's try that again. So that's my first one. So not null, this field was not null. This field can be null and this field cannot be null. Okay, let's do. Did it keep the not null definition? Oh, see, now it did. So there is a little confusion. The not null, I didn't repeat that not null and it says it has become yes. And that's what I was saying. When you change something, you must just put everything back together. But the default value still kept. So it's not behaving symmetrically across. So the default kept, but the not null didn't. So you know what? The best way is what? Just repeat your definition. So if you just give the new definition, if you don't want it to be null, do you want a default value, whatever, just do. Okay. Okay, so what did I do? I changed something. I removed the, or maybe, yeah, is that by default too? I see, what was it here? No, null is no, there was no default. Oh, notice something. So maybe it's you have to give it. But notice how in the first table also, when I said it is a not null field, the default value is null. So that's not, there's no confusion in the sense, the default is always null. So keep in mind, anytime you want to change anything, just change whatever you want to change is my recommendation to you and you will not go wrong. I'm going to, I don't know what I had a default here. Oh, there it was. That's what I have. I'm bringing it back. So I'm right in my statement. If you want to change, write the change statement and write all the properties of it, all the constraints of it. You cannot go wrong. The not null, I think the default is just coming by default. Even if I don't have it, see, even if I don't have it and it's not a not null field, it's still coming by default. It still works. So that's what the system gives it. See, it gives us a default value. Unless I put a not null, let's see what happens then. So you can play with it a little and see what's happening in MySQL. Nope, default is always null. That's kind of what it is, but anyway, can't do much about it. So keep in mind, if you want to put a comment for yourself, please do it. Change the names and of their type. You can say to keep old. I don't know what to call it. Properties. It's not a property. And to keep old. It is a kind of, but I don't know if there is a word for it in. If you wanted to say not null, you'll have to repeat it. Because remember, it didn't take that definition form. So if you want to keep old properties, then you can give an example like not null. So that way you'll know what I'm trying to say. If I didn't give it, it wasn't transferring it from the old table. The default is the only one that is kind of behaving differently. To me, it just makes sense to kind of repeat whatever you want. So you're just kind of writing it again. So change is used when you want to change the name of the field and its type, both. Modify is used when you only want to change the type. You don't want to change the name, but you want to change the type. So you'll say, can I still do it with change? Yes, you just have to repeat the same name twice. You don't want to change the name, just repeat it twice. So modify, just for your information, modify, I don't know if I have an example. Okay, yeah, I have one. Let's do it. Here. This one says, if only the type has to be changed. So what does it want to change? Use modify. So it's kind of not the, I mean, it's not as if it really has to be done. I want to show you modify. So modify column is used, or you can say use modify. Column or without, whatever you like. You can say use modify column when only type needs to be changed. What can I do? I don't have any other field. So let's do this. Change the description project. Okay. Change the project description. Just for the heck of it. I can't think of anything else. Contractor name can go to 50 actually. Change the project description to varchar 200 or whatever. Just try whatever you like, because I need to show it to you. So we'll again do the alter table command. And since I'll do a little bit of cheating here. Control C, Control V. I'll change the change column to modify column. And remember, modify is different. You don't have to repeat the properties that you're not changing. So there is a difference between change and modify. Modify just means whatever I'm changing. Okay, so we'll remove this name. Absolutely. Like this. Right? And what was the new name?
Project description.
Project description. Pick it up. And then you say what's its new varchar is 150. We don't need this. The default is not needed anyway. We've already found that out. There, that's the difference between modify and change. Nobody stops you, but it's not the right way of doing it. Like I could have used this one too. I could have said, I'll put it for you, but it's not required. I could have said change column. It's just more typing. I say take the description and call it description. So no change in the name. You'll have to repeat it twice, and then you give your varchar. So stick with modify. If all you have to do is change its type. Stick with it. It's just better. Then you don't have to worry, because you're not saying, oh, did I change anything or whatever. Right, so the default null is just a different behavior, but not null, of course, keep in mind, not null. Anytime a field is not null and you want to keep it not null, please repeat it in changes. Always repeat it in changes. You can try if you like, if you want to make it obvious. Maybe it would be a better, like you can't forget about it. So contractor on job. Will a job always have a contractor? Yes. Something that I can say cannot be null. I don't know, maybe this field, what else can I say? We'll make it not null so that you don't forget it. So please change this definition so that I can prove to you that change does require repetition. Okay, so I've changed this, please bear with me. So that's not null. So when I describe the projects, it will be not null. So instead of default null, say not null. And then when I change it, forget to do it first. Don't do it. So just don't do it. Forget. And I want to prove to you that it will no longer not null. So I forgot to do the not null. Okay. and the contractor on job was not important at all. Okay, so I didn't do it here. I didn't copy it here in the change. I didn't say not null. And I'm going to show you the describe again. So here. And I'm going to show you the project description again. Which is the field I made not null? Contractor on job. So let's do this. You'll know it can be done. Okay, so let's try that now. So there, this field can be null. It can be no and no. So your contractor on job cannot be null. And where did we show it again? This one? Here it became null because you forgot to put the not null there. So that way now you'll know that I have to do it in change. Do you want to try the modify also so that we know? Do you want to try modify? Does modify keep that definition? So do this please. In contractor on job, please add not null. Because I've made it not null in my description. See, not null. If you don't keep it, it goes away. It doesn't stay. So keep it. So now this comment at line 55 will make sense. And now let's try it with, I don't know about modify, because modify is a different verb. I don't think you should need it. Let's try it modifying the contractor name. And I forget. Okay, and let's give him varchar 50. And let's forget the not null. Let's just forget it and see what happens. Does it keep it? Logically, I think it should, but I really don't know because there is more sense working here than only logical. This one, not null. Yeah, see, that makes sense. Okay, so let's start. This was a not null field.
Are you looking?
Give me a minute. This was a not null field, right? So it cannot be null. And I kept that definition. I kept it. So it is still not null. And in modifier, I forgot it and it came back. So you have to remember to always add whatever you want to keep. That way it's kind of one rule. So it was not null. I kept it. I remembered it in change column and I kept it. I forgot it in my modify column and I've lost it. So you'll have to add. So put that comment again, please. Change the project description. Okay, so put this comment. To keep old properties, repeat them. Put this comment in modify also. Okay, so my logic didn't make sense. I thought modifying just means change something, like it's a different way. But the only difference is modify is like change, except that you don't have to give the name. That's it. That's the only difference. If you want to keep it, please say not null again. Please say it again. So you always have to, at least there is one rule. You don't have to remember many rules. So if you want to keep the old properties, please see that you repeat them. That's it. So now you can't forget it. If you do, then the property is gone. When I didn't have a not null, it became a null. Now it will be fine. Everything will have not null. That's where description comes handy. Description is very handy in alter statements. Can this field be null? No. Can it be null? No. Can it be null? No. I had to keep that definition. I had to. So if you put that comment, at least you will remember it. So the only difference between change and modify is modify is used when you don't want to change the name of the field. Otherwise, it's behaving absolutely like change. And you'll say, no, I don't want to. I still want to use change column. Sure, just repeat the same name twice. You can repeat the same name twice. It will work. There's nothing wrong in it. This is the old name. This is the new name. Right? So that's modify. And one last one, and then I'll give you a break. Okay? So I'll keep my descriptions everywhere. What if you wanted to drop a column? There is a verb again. So we should drop a field. Oh, I don't want to. But anyway, I have to show you. Just to show you, right? So again, alter table, the name of the table, and as you can guess now, there is add column, there is modify column, there is change column, there is drop column. If you really wanted to drop a field, Though I don't want to, but here it is, like contractor name. Yeah, you can do it this way. Right? So you've learned all things. You've done everything. You'll say, you can add a column if you like, not making it a primary key. Any new column you can add. You've seen add before, but I'll just do it more for you. Add new columns. It's just again an alter table command. That is actually the easiest because you're just kind of repeating your. Okay, what columns do you want to add? Oops, what did I do? Okay, so let's add, I don't know, let's add the start date. Makes sense to have a start date. It's a date variable. Let's add a start date to your project. Makes sense. When did the column start? And again, whatever you want just complete it. Whatever you want, not null, default, whatever definitions you want. Suppose I want to add the contractor's phone number. The poor guy, I've removed his name and now I want to add his phone number. That's okay, just to show you. Remember, phone, we usually take them not to be numbers, but varchars. You can do whatever you like. 10 is enough with whatever we have. You can add another column. You can add as many columns as you like. Oh, you can even, again, one statement will do. You can say estimated cost. So I know this is not a good field to drop. The contractor name is not a good field to drop, but I didn't have much to do. I needed the description. So estimated cost will what? A decimal? It's a cost. So it will be a decimal field. And these are big projects or small projects, depends upon what kind of projects they will be. So I'll just go 7,2. And put a semicolon at the end. So do whatever the new definition, the add should give the whole definition. If you want not null, if you want default, everything, just kind of complete it. So estimated cost, if you want to give a default of 0, though it's not a good thing to do, but anyway, you can just add it here. It's just like adding as if you were doing it in your create statement. Have I missed anything? We did add primary key. We did add column, drop column, modify column, change column, auto increment, rename table. We've covered everything in order, like once at least. I don't think I've left out anything. And again, how do I see if everything is okay? You can describe your table again. That's the only way you'll be able to look. There is no other way. That's the best way, I should say. Of course, you could always say select star, but that doesn't tell me the description of the table. It just shows me the contents. And you can guess from the contents that things have changed. So why not just describe the table? Right? So add is simple. In modify and change, keep in mind that if you want to keep old properties, you have to write them again. Just keep that in mind. Then you won't make a mistake. And drop is simple. Nothing to be done at all. Just drop it. And add a new column, the whole definition. It's a new column you're adding. Okay? So that takes care of everything in alt at least. So if you want to run it just to see that everything is good, and then you can compare. Or you can just look at your last one. Uh-oh. Incorrect date value from column start day at row 1. Oh, I see what it is trying to say. Give me a minute. Let me think about it. The error. Let me think about the error. Incorrect date value 000 for column start day at row 1. Okay, so if I add a new field and if I say not null, okay, let's try that. I made it a not null field. Let's try that. Yeah, see? Yep. If I added a column and I said not null, I have to remember there are records already in the table. You have to be careful about that. There are records already in the table. So if I said not null, it couldn't give it a default value. So therefore that 00, this is the default value. So we have to be a little careful. When I do a not null, it wasn't working. And it makes sense if you think about it. Here is your new table. What is it? Select star from TBL projects. Must be then some setting. I'll have to change that. Yep. Do you have not null in that?
Yeah.
And it's running? It's something, then I'll have to see. That means that's a setting then. Maybe the engine, exactly. Right? Because you want to have a different engine. That's the only one I can think of. Let's see what it happens. And it does, it always, the 00 does, the date always does create problem. And dates always have an issue. Always. Not only in my course, when you do it with Jarrett, dates will always have some issues. You'll have to keep it in mind. Oh, do I have an, okay, here is my table. So it was creating, so it became null, null, null. But when I said not null, it wasn't allowing me to do it. When I said not null, and it could be an engine issue for sure. Let's try that now. See here. Yeah, because I said it is not null. So what does it do with the previous fields? It couldn't do anything. So it said I can't do it. But this definitely is, it is running, not running for me, but it is running for Yana. So it has to do with something to do with definitely the null values. And as soon as I remove that not null, I'm okay. And I don't know the behavior of Dreamhost guys. I really don't. And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. What do you have? VAMP? Are you on a Windows machine? And you have VAMP or XAMPP? Yeah, so that's the difference, right? That's what she has, XAMPP. I have VAMP. So the engine has been set differently. So if I can find the statement to set my engine to the InnoDB, I should be okay. My script will also run. But these are issues. It's not as if there is something wrong. You just have to figure them out because of engines and everything. And you will come across these things, which is okay. See, the problem was here. I said not null and it wanted to set it to null because my records are already added. It wanted to set it to null and I said not null. It says I can do it. You're saying not null, but what do I do of these values that are already, records are already in your table? And it's logical. But the setting, when you're working with exam is saying you can add fields and you can say not null. What does it give you when you do it just gives you null? Yeah. Okay, it just gives null. So it's just a setting. Right, so engines behave differently, believe me, they do. And when I first used MySQL, I had a lot of problems because I was bringing my knowledge from Oracle and DB2, and their behavior was different. And that's when I knew, oh, these are engines, that kind of thing. So you live and learn, right? Like same with collating sequence, same with case sensitivity. So there are so many things that you learn as you go on, and that makes sense. Like because I thought, and I'm now thinking, oh, logically, so. My engine is saying logically, how can you say not null when you already have fields added there and they don't have a value? And I say, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. To me, it is making sense. But on the other hand, the other engine is behaving differently. So the default value. So I have a problem, you don't, but now you know that problems can arise and these are new engines and read about them. I mean, that's what I had to do too, of course. So I'll kind of remove my not null because it's not working for me. You can make a note for yourself, may not work on all engines. That way you will remember. I will know about my machine for sure. So when your script comes to me and you do something like this, I know that you have a different exam. Or I'll never ask the question in which these things will be different. I won't, because I don't want to create confusion. Okay? Okay, so that completes your alter. Now, what else did we have? We had a factory and a donations. So donations is more to do with string functions, so I can leave that. With factory, you have a factory. What did you have else on Blackboard? Factory and donations. What else was on Blackboard?
Factory
and donations. Okay, so the factory one, you know what I can do? I can say do it yourself. Why? Because it is something that may come in the exam also.
Is the exam open book? Or?
If it is a written one, it will be open book. Like you can refer to the manual. That's what open book means, right? You can refer to the manual. You can refer to your assignments or whatever. But if it is, yeah, or your book, or if it is a multiple, which I'm not kind of thinking, but if it becomes a kind of a multiple choice or stuff, then it's a closed book. You will know this information before next week you come to class, of course, by the weekend, okay? But if it is okay, it's okay. So factory guys, I'm bringing it to your notice. Do it yourself. It's not a big one. It's just an update statement. You'll have to look for it. And maybe you can do it in your own free time. I'm not saying do it right now, but I'm saying do it whenever you want. It will help you in the exam. if I give you a written exam. So do it yourself. You can make a note for yourself. I won't do it with you. Why should I? You cannot. You should be able to go and look it up. Right? Do it. Right? It will give you some practice and it will give you marks if I ask something similar in your lesson. So you do it yourself. Now we are at 1:35. So that means by the time you come back after lunch, it will be almost 2. Kind of. I think we should be able to do it. I can give you an in class. Take a break, come back, and I'll give you an in class. You can. It's not a big deal. You'll be able to. Do you want me to open it right away? If you want to go get it and then get your lunch or whatever. Okay, so in class assignments, there they are. I'm going to open it for, people have started moving. Can you download it before you leave the room, please? Please download the question before you leave the room. Any number of attempts are allowed, as long as you make the attempt before you leave class. Okay, so it's a document file. Please download it. Don't share it with the other section. Do what is asked and then submit your assignment by 2 o'clock. It's just what we did on Tuesday. By 2 o'clock.
Wait,
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, we are like 3 today. Today is Wednesday. By 3 o'clock today.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder,
3 o'clock today.
is there a certain location, which is why we have a smaller class, or?
No, I just forgot. Usually I have 11 to 2 classes. This is my only class that runs from 12 to 3. That's why.
So right now, this is a break, and you use this
Yeah,
time to
please
download.
download the file so that I can remove it from Blackboard. Download the document file and I remove it from Blackboard. Anybody who's missing? So Hitesh is the only one? No, there was another student there. Phone calls are very important. People leave as phone calls come. Maybe they are doing some interview or something. So please download this ICA4. How to submit is already there. You have to submit me an SQL file via this link. This is how you have to call it. And then do it like as many attempts as you like. Doesn't matter. I always pick up the last one. So don't worry about it. You should be able to do that. It's not more than an hour's work. You just did alter in less than an hour.
Are you going to give a file, SQL file, or we have to?
Nothing. This is a document. You create a new file altogether. The whole thing has to be done by you, starting from scratch. Instructions are all there. So you first create a dirty table and then you make tables. That's all. So everything. Sorry? Sure? Sure, if you don't want to go for lunch, don't want to take a break.
Yeah, we have the script we did right away.
The one that I just did?
Yeah.
So we basically worked on alter today, okay? That's what we did. Okay, so which ones? We did 2 of them today, right? One was called donuts. And the more important one is the project one that we just did. Okay, both files that we worked on class today are on Blackboard now. There they are, alter donuts and project solve. I'll also have my lunch. I'm hungry too.
What does it mean by this statement?
This statement is simply saying that when you use the not null on some systems, like I don't know, like it depends upon again your environment, it may not implement it. But this way, the not null will always be implemented. Okay, that's what it's. This is just setting it.
In every of the.
I just do it in every one of them, but I don't need it now. But till last year I needed it, so I'm just keeping it there so that you can kind of think of it. Okay. I better have my lunch. So guys, don't forget, factory is your work. You do factory yourself. I'm going to remove that file. Yes, please work independently, right? It makes no sense getting a 0 in the assignment or being thrown out of the college just because you cheat. Don't do that. I've already had 2 incidents of it, and I'm telling you, they have bad consequences. So just work independently, that's all. That's all you have to do. And if you can't work independently sitting together, please change your seats. I would highly recommend it. I need to talk to you. Yeah, before you do your in-class. And you've done this the second time now, right? You only come to class when the in-class is due. That means I give an in-class and I won't have it. That doesn't mean you come when the assignment is done. Because somebody messages you, yeah, there is an assignment. Doesn't matter. You are not in my class before this. And you're doing this the second time.
But I know how to do this.
That's okay. I don't care. When in class means you are in class. Doesn't mean you come to do the assignment in class. There's a difference between the two. And my syllabus says it clearly. You have to be in class. Right? And you've done this again. You just did this last Friday. And I told you that.
Last Friday, I was really sick.
Don't come in then. Get a doctor's note.
I think it's the doctor.
That's really very strange. You're sick for 1.5 hours. You're very sick for 1.5 hours and has panic. I won't have it again. Is that clear? Okay? No, whether you're sorry or not, there is a rule and it stays for everybody.
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't have the file for the in-class.
Yeah, because you went off,
Yeah.
right? Take it from somebody now. I'm not putting it back. Take it from somebody in class. Ritesh had it, I think, before he left. Ritesh, you took it before he left? Yeah, just take it. Because I don't want to keep it on Blackboard for a while, right? Because some students have interest in is getting marks for the in classes. And if that's your whole purpose, don't come to my class, please. I'm just giving out my attendance sheet. See that you fill it up, please. To kind of do this now, you have to distribute it. I take my attendance before class starts. I'm passing the attendance sheet around. Please put your name on it. Can you just put your name? Do you need a pen? I don't know if I have a pen.
I have a couple pens.
Okay, could you just give one Bradley and then it can move around the room and then I'll give it back to you. Yes. Yeah, everything has to be. Yes, yes. Yes, these are values. How will I know that you created 14? What does it say? It says the size is create a database on all of the list and create the table automatically. So when you say create a table, you know, right? So you create the bad table first, the before table first, create it, put data into it, do everything, and then improve it. Right? So the before table is given to you, the after table is given to you, everything is given. So don't do it the right way to begin with. Do it the untidy way and then make it right with the alter table statements.
SQL.
Can I borrow your pen for the class and then you can remember it. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Yeah. So if you don't have assignment number, if you don't have statement number 11, then everywhere before the table name you say VB auto. Sorry, dot. So you don't try to use. But then before every table name, wherever you're using your table name, you VB auto dot table. Database name dot table. Right?
Where's the SQL file on Blackboard?
There is no SQL file. You have to, there is a document file and the instructions are in the document.
Okay, you still have to create all this from
Everything,
scratch.
yes, yes. You have to do everything from scratch. There is only a document file, right? So you create a bad table and then you create a good table. Just pass it around, okay? And then pass the pen also around. Remember to take your pen before you leave it. So I'm calling out names here because I still don't know everybody's name. So this is your assignment from week 2 or 3, whatever it was, assignment number 2. Shane Milligan, Kyle O'Brien, Jashandeep is not sure, Harshpreet, no, that's Speak. Davinder, no, these girls are all in the other section. Simon, Sean is not in this section. Some names I know. Yang Su left, okay. Tejveer Singh. So I've kind of been again lenient here. I didn't use the marking scheme on Blackboard because I gave you more marks. Yeah, I know. Right, so but on exam, I'm really going to be strict. Something works good, something doesn't work as you. So,
Open the question. Go on. Go on. This table was for water, not TBA. That's it. Okay? Tanvi Bhalia? Okay. Mona is not in this section. The full name, sir? Divyansh Sharma? Ranjit Singh? Simarjeet Pannu? Sanjay Bansal? Oh, I saw him in my office today. Gagan, no, he's not. Jaspreet Singh? Karan Sharma? Harshdeep Singh? So it's a Singh and it has to, right? Okay. Hartej Pal Singh? Hardeep Singh? I'm sorry guys, it will take some time. I don't know whether I'll be able to do it till the end of the semester. The names are so similar. Harmanpreet? So it is a girl, so you guys also have that name? Okay. Priyansh Kumar? Harmandeep Singh? Gurjeet Sandhu? Simrandeep Kaur? Mauro? I recognize faces for sure, right? I don't recognize names. Shavin Brown? Praditya? I don't think I know them. I don't know how to say. Is it Evan? IVA? Ivan? So I don't have to concentrate on this one. Have I missed anybody? Anybody who submitted the assignment and I haven't returned it? In this class, everybody's got it back, whoever submitted it? Did you do the assignment? Did you do the assignment? Yansu. Oh my God. This is me, they don't know that. All that. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think somebody started writing it. No. So we started writing. Everybody got it. Names are good. How much it costs. So what should we give it? Yeah, that's fine because you said it is 3 people. But you see around 2 years, you know. Right now, we use I know the first table is bad. Don't worry about it. The price is shown with 3 places of decimal. How much is the price? If it shows you 3, do 3 please. Okay? Don't worry, you will alter it afterwards. That's the whole purpose of altering it.
Okay,
So I'm confused to like that. So that's it.
Okay, so what you have to do? Yeah, that's it. Thank you for the time.
So the how much, please let me bring your notice. Don't put your brains before altering. Put your brains after altering, okay? So please pay attention here. This says 540. There are 3 places after decimal. There is no place after decimal. There is 1 place. So you will create a decimal with 3 places after decimal. If the 0 is kind of confusing you, make it 541. But there are 3 places. I'm showing you 3 places here. I know price must not be 3 places. You will alter it afterwards. Okay? That is your job to alter it afterwards.
So you don't want us to do the 3 places after the decimal right now, but later on when we're altering.
The 3 places after the decimal are done right now with this auto. You alter it when you do it in your second neat table. Like it's an odd price, but I can make it 541 if you like. Because Easy said 540 doesn't have a value, and he's right. Like he said, why should I even do it? Maybe change it to 1, and that way you know I need 3 places. You see what I mean? Start with 3, then you alter it afterwards. That's the whole purpose. I'll make it 541. The InnoDB is the most general purpose storage engine is what they write, Yana, and Oracle recommends using it for tables. So XAMPP has already kind of set that default, but WAMP hasn't. Yeah, but that's what is recommended. And there are many more. These are called storage engines. And you can set them. So you have the right one going, and the WAMP has the MyISAM going. So the most recommended one is InnoDB.
need for wind.
No, 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 it's the same. Put it together.
Yeah, you can.
You cannot put it. Wind, it says,
Oh, it says something, okay.
differently.
Yeah. So just go with primary key then.
No, the wind is finished. But you cannot.
Yeah, yeah, you can do it in alter, but you can do it in create. That's another thing I
Ah.
found, yeah, you can do it in alter, but otherwise, so kind of didn't say anything, I just made a note. If you can handle it, if you can do it, I'll give you bonus marks if you can also. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that you have to do.
No, it's
Yeah, the alter is not, alter doesn't make it that right. Maybe it's not able to. The win numbers are unique, I've said. Now, you may kind of work a little, your brain, and research a little. But can I do it in the alter table statement, or maybe by changing my engineers? I've just mentioned it because I know it's a little bit of thinking. If you do it and I see you've done it, I'll give you bonus marks for it. If you don't, that's okay. Because there are so many things that go behind the scenes, right? But it is available if when in your create table command. That works, but it doesn't work with the alter table command. So I'm not sure. So it's not working for you, right? And it's not working for me also. And I have ISAM. So maybe we can do it in alter table. Yeah, I tried it and therefore I removed that constraint. I just kept it there and I thought maybe if somebody thinks of it, right? Sometimes some people may find a solution. Like maybe engines are behaving differently. They are. I'm going to check if we need not null with the primary key. You still need to say not null. Kind of odd, but anyway. I really have to be careful now. Yes, Bradley, go ahead and ask what's your question.
I'm trying to understand the comment about dropping the table TBL_auto if one exists before renaming the auto table to table_auto. Does that include the period at the end?
I'm not giving you syntax, right? You write the syntax yourself. We just did it in class, how to drop a table. These are just normal questions. The syntax, you find out the syntax. We just did it.
About dropping. I'm just trying to make sure that I understand the question correctly.
Yeah, you have to drop the table before you rename it. That's exactly what the question says. Drop the table before you rename it.
And I rename it with the same name I gave the table before.
Does it, that's what it says? What was the table called before and what is it called after?
Well, TBL_auto, TBL_auto.
No, it wasn't called TBL_auto before.
But that's what the statement says.
Really?
Yeah, I checked the form. See, I was writing the comment based on this month.
Go up. What is this table called?
Auto.
So from where did you call it TBL? I didn't say call it.
Oh, I got the idea here. After you do the statements, drop the table TBL_auto.
Yeah, if one exists. Does it say that that table is called TBL auto? Does it say in
No.
So why are you using it? That table wasn't called TBL auto. It was called auto.
The previous table was called auto. Can I help you? Is there anything that you need an answer to? Then what are you asking, Ritesh? Can I know? So do your own work.
Remember, you can change positions with first and after. You've already learned that. I've said first and after are two ways you can change the position of a field. First means bring it to the first position, and after something means bring it after. These are the two options available in MySQL. There is no before, there is no second, third, nothing. So when you're modifying or changing the column, when I say place this after or before something, just see in the table how they are placed and use after or after will work. You can't use before. So the new table is giving you the new fields, the new positions, everything.
So pretty much after creating the bad table, create the good table from it. You can Google to see how to create a unique key. I was able to find it. So try it for bonus marks if you like, okay? Let me see if it works, but I was able to find it. It works.
You can do it. It just took me a minute to find out. That is going to set this constant. It's not a big deal. I've already mentioned unique for you when I was creating the table. You can also do it in alter table. Just look it up, you'll get it. It's not a big deal. You won't even take a minute. So please see that you do it, okay? Google it, you're allowed to Google, no big deal in that. So please open up your Word documents and kind of add this so that you don't forget. All of you have downloaded the Word document. Just add this. Add this means complete it. It already says the win value is unique to each card. And I've given you again, set this constant for this field when you alter the win. Constant means this restriction. And Google it, you'll find it. It's very similar to how you would be trying to do it. That's a hint, you should be able to find it. Nobody with their ears plugged here, everybody is listening, right? Okay, so make that change. I'm sure if I can find it, you can find it. Do a describe instead of select, do a describe. Do a select after you put it into the data entry. Description shows you have the fields change. After this, you will just do empty, right? That's a better way. Of course, select will work, but description, describe your table to see if things are changing as you want them to change. That's the best way of seeing it. already there. What can you do? What are the new fields? Not all these automatic. Don't re-enter the data again, guys. The whole purpose is lost. Alter table should alter the structure of the table, and any new field that you want to add all these values to, you could use an update statement. I don't want to see insert values again. This is the whole purpose, right? When we're down back to square one. So after you alter the table, you will need update statement or statements, basically to fill in the bin numbers. The rest of the data is already there. RID is automatic, auto increment, so it will go 1 to 3. The rest of the values are already there. All you have to do is update the bin field. That's it. I don't want to see again insert values. Imagine if you had to insert thousands of records again. Yes?
Updating content.
In the table auto table now, it's a new table. Your new table has 2 new fields. RIG, which is auto increment, so you don't have to do anything about it, and the win. The win number is something you will update. Right? Update that. Think how to update that value in the win. What's the full form of win? I forget it now. It's a unique number for cars. Identification number. So there it is. Don't use the insert data statement to put values. So what happens to your laptop every time in class? What do you do in an exam? I don't use extra time in an exam and everything because I can't do that, right? Something gets wrong with the laptop every time you're in class. So what did it say now? What happened? Like how did you do? Updates, you did updates right now? Yes, but that can happen every time in class. You know what I mean? Like every time when you're in class, there's something happens. You do something with your laptop. Then everybody can come up with something, right? And then I can be doing this. So I'm hinting, and I think that's good enough for hint. Update the data in the table at the end. Don't write insert statements, please. This is not going to work. Do you know? When is that? Okay, so that's how you do it, right? So you can do it here in this line, but you can add it as a separate state. Make sense? That's what you do. Take it work, but it is. Okay? So put the comma here, after the priority, and then exactly like this. And you try to do it, right? So we will do this. So then in brackets, what do you say? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, set SQL underscore save underscore updates equal to zero. SQL underscore save, the same underscore updates equal to zero. It's SQL save updates. I'm almost positive. I could be wrong in the spelling.
Yeah, we did it, right? What is it?
It was just that. I put on someone.
Okay.
It doesn't work anymore.
It has to be set before you use updates.
Yes, that is still.
Yeah, you have to do SQL save updates equal to 0. Don't forget, guys, you haven't yet come to that update state. That's why you're saying it works. At the end, you have to add the win numbers. How will you do them with the update statement? You've done everything that I've done is asked except one thing, the unique one, which I've mentioned, but you just have to put 2 and 2 together and you can do it. And I've told you to look it up if you get stuck. So you should be okay, guys. I mean, not as if you see something, you'll die out of it. No, you can't. Find it out. Yes.
You have to update the price. When you change its type, it will automatically, it already is in there. The data is already in there, right? It will automatically make the change. RIT cannot get to fields you have to have an underscore. It's a field name, right? Underscore. That have a blank in a file. Okay?
No problem. You don't have to update the price. You already have it there. When you change its type, it will automatically do the needful.
So it's just a thing.
It's just a different number, right? You had 541. Now you said I only want to do 2. It will remove the 1.
So I'm just updating the bit.
Yes, you're updating the fit in price. But you will have to update the win number. Win number is not there at all. That's the new field you will have to add data for, right? So please update the win field at the end. not the price field. Price field already has value. It will automatically take its picture. You already have something in how much. All you've done is renamed it and given it a new type, new size. And it will keep it. That's okay. So update only for win. That's it. And think about how to do it. It's not a big deal. So think about it. We've done updates last week.
Change the information, but the modify is wrong, because remember what was modify mean? Modify means when you have to use the type of. So that's missing, right? But in JIT, you always have to give name and type. The difference between change and modify is you change, you give the new name and the old name, and modify, you just give the name and. So you will use modify. So they have. I tell you what you're missing. You are missing the type after the name. When you modify a thing, you have to use the name. But why are you working? Why are you working?
I just want to change the color.
Oh, so do it where you have done the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't want
No, because I don't hear that where.
this one, everything that I'm changing.
Yeah, so try to do things together rather than doing it together. Yeah, okay, God later do that anyway you are doing wrong. You have to just say the type in. But now you'll have to go back and see the type. So that's the basic language.
And I already
Yeah, so now, that's after whatever name of it. So it's better to do it at one place rather than. It says duplicate column, right? What is the
because I already done that.
Oh, so you ran it again.
Yeah.
So just run the whole script again once it's. It worked. Oh, it worked for you. It not work, it doesn't work. I had to use something else.
Oh, no, no, because, no, I don't know.
No, I couldn't write that word in front of it like this. Yeah.
No, it worked, but, if I want to change it. Okay.
Oh. Oh, because when the previous record is trying, when it makes that change, it's trying to do it null. That's what it is trying to see. This man is very, you just have to be careful. Remember, not null was working for you in the date, but it is not working for you now.
Yeah. I cannot.
Okay, maybe at the end. Now try. Now try to this. Now you can do after you've done the change. After you update it, now you can do the change. Do this. Instead of trying to just have to say. Yeah, because now we can do it once it's modify. So next is say not sure you can do the remember now sometimes it is keeping and sometimes it is not. So I know what you have. So, it's a record of like maybe because you haven't created the uniqueness of it. It's an unknown God, which is a very strange one.
Yeah, I just thought. I don't have
Any way of doing it, right? It was to be seen. It wasn't a line there, right?
No.
No, it's totally the same. If they're not trying to remove it, just one place. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, so, okay, yeah, now I can get, now I can take it on to it. Now put another statement. Yeah, put a comma. And then now we will say found. Unique. And then in brackets say, no, I would have to say, but in brackets say. No, so that's true. It's just to put it into. I have to figure it out.
You can use identity.
It is saying one. Because when you are creating a new field, it is trying to do it nice. Something like something is happening here. Okay, it's unique. Did we say all fields must be not null also? Okay, let me see. I must have done the solution, so. Where are you, sir? Should we be updating it on make or should we be updating it on some other field? What if unique identifies everything? That unique identifies everything. Use that. Could have more than one make. More than one cars can have the same make, but can they have the same ID? No. So you always update on car.
Can you,
Update your car, update your bins on car ID, guys. Car ID is your unique field.
yeah, do I have to update, right?
No, it will automatically change from black to black because you change its size. Change its size, its type. Okay, that was decimal, whatever comma three, change it to the right hand. Go comma, whatever you need. Let me see, because I've done that before. Yana, let me see what I have.
Yeah.
Because mine works, I remember. Oh, I didn't do not null. Okay, I don't know whether I asked it in the question or are you not reading it properly.
So all new fields should not know.
One of the fields has a null value. Okay, no other field should be null. There is no primary key. Okay, now. Yeah, I've said all new fields should not be null. Yeah. So the new fields are car ID and VIN, right? Oh, I forgot to do it in my script. Okay, let me see then. So you're getting problems. It's not working for you, right? So to begin with, one of the fields is allowed, the others are not null. Okay, let's see. Then you say that not null isn't working. Yep, I get the same. It's putting blank in the VIN when I create it. You know what we can do? I think I know. Let's see. Okay, after we've done that. So it wasn't even working after updates, right? You said it wasn't even working after updates. Okay, let me try that. Yeah, as soon as I repeat that, maybe. Okay, let me try. All we are doing is modifying it, right? Mine works after the updates. Try it again once, see if we did anything wrong. I don't know. I think unique and not null together are creating some problem because I didn't use the word unique again. Yeah, mine is working. What did we do? See, alter table and then after the updates. So when we wanted it, we won't do anything. Yes, this looks good. So remove the word unique from it and add count. And then model again to them. Oh, will it be opposite? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so there is not null because there is a separate statement for all that. Okay, now just take alter table and then say add link and then B. After what did you put the records? After updated. Okay, so this is also that's after. So now say add link. Anyway, and keep building items. Like we do primary, right? This one. I didn't try that, but this one. But you try the after this. No, I'm just saying I didn't do it. Okay. Okay. Just try to do it. Still do it. Remove it. Not really. Keep this. I remove your cursor. Just do it this way. See the problem? It says something. Oh, this is that. Okay, so change that. Because it's logical, right? No, that is giving. No, that's giving. Yeah, it's just giving. Unless we take the other.
updates have to be done on car ID and not on X. Keep in mind, it may not be unique, the car IDs are unique, so use car ID. Okay? That's just as an aside. Whenever you want to make changes in data, always do it on the time.
Yeah,
But how do you know there won't be another make with the same? I mean, those could be other
yeah,
answers.
look at the
Yeah, but remember car ID is auto included. So we have to, when we add records, we have to go one by one. That's the only way. Update your records, that's what I'm saying. Updates have to be done on the car ID, guys. Okay, so where did you, okay, so where did you add that column change? Put your not null. Okay, so don't put your unique here, put your not null. And not null here, right? And this unique key can be added afterwards, after you've added the record. Yes. Yes. Okay. We will have some things, I have to come back, I have to answer it, and have to leave too. Please submit now, yes. Yeah. Practice about okay.
it's not only this unique because when I comment this out, it works.
Yeah, but it is figured, I figured it out, okay. And that's, maybe that could be bonus then, because you can figure it out. Where did you add that comment? Okay, so this statement, think about it. This table that you created, a new column or new column, right? There is nothing in the end, right? Because you haven't updated it, it's empty. When you try to say unique, they're all empty. How can it be unique? So take it out from here and put it after your table and see if that makes sense. Okay, now. Now think why what went wrong. You said add a new column called win, right?
Yeah.
You said it was not. So it created a new column, and what will it put in it? The same, it doesn't have anything to put. So either it will put null, 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 or it will put blank, 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 something, right? And do your after also in that statement. You have to place it after the car ID.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so add it. You can do that. You can't insert like that. Insert will always add new records. That's why I'm saying update it. That's why I'm saying insert will always add new records. So where will this go? You'll have 3 more new records. That's not what we want. You think about it, I've said it so many times. Update your table using car ID. Right?
Enter everything, and I believe I have the requirements of this.
Good then.
So I'll just submit.
Yes, please. If you have filled the requirement.
Done.
What does it say? What does it say? It says there are incorrect integer value box turning column. So you're doing something wrong. So it's colored fields make model how much? So somewhere you're missing something. How many fields? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. But it says in Boxster itself. Insert incorrect integer value Boxster for columns. It's like in the first class. So that small int. And maybe again that. Yeah, there you are. This is a here. Oh, so you're putting Boxster into it.
Yeah, okay, like that. Yeah, I was kind of confused when I was doing this. Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Submit that, submit. It's really, it is not so tough. The only place where you could stump is that unique thing. Yeah, but where did you do it? After, okay. No, but not after. Where did you do it? Okay, so not here. You tell me why. If you do it here, then you've done it. Where is it? Yeah, and you have to also add this. You're not even also add after. Maybe you have to place it. Okay, so now where is your other one? Where was the unique thing? Okay, so we're at the wrong place is the main problem. Okay. So you should pick this up and place it after you have inserted the value. Yeah, because you say I insert the column. Column gets inserted. What value will each record have? all blanks or all null, God knows what, all blanks null. They're not unique. So how you're saying they're unique? So half the reason. Make sense? If you're only stumping at the unique portion, leave it out. It's not a big deal. Don't make the whole script wrong. But it's just a thinking process. You have to think logically. You first insert the records and then say my field is unique. How can you say it is unique before you insert? Because when you do that, those fields are empty, so they're not unique. They're all empty. So the uniqueness has to be done at the end. And if you can, leave it alone. Don't get stumped. Okay, no. But if you make it an auto implement, the car ID has to be an auto implement. Okay? What does it say? Okay, so it's an unknown column. Okay, it's a character. Put it in quotes. If you don't put it in quotes, it assumes it's the name of a field. Another quote is called car ID was embedded. Okay. So why only one of those statements? How many of those statements? Prime one. Okay.
Please update your table on car ID. You will otherwise lose marks. Logically, you should update the table on your primary key field because that's the field that identifies every record. Don't do it on make or color. Doesn't make sense. Can two cars have the same color? Can two cars have the same make or model? So how can you update on a non-unique field? Right? So update using car ID. Where car ID is 1, do this. Where car ID is 2, do this and so on. Make sense? Put 2 and 2 together, guys. You've been doing so much now. It's week 6. How should I update? Primary keys are identifying fields. Okay, so where is this? Where did you first do it? Okay, so where did you first do it? The change. Why? It's more than how much? Because you forgot you're not null here. It's not. So you didn't add it, that's why it's not. Because what you've done now, you're not changing anything. It's only saying make it a unique field, right? So you shouldn't change it. We're not using change or change or add. Because you're changing it so many times. You know what? If you finished work, you can do it. I don't know what you've done. Yeah, what happened now? It works, right? So the only thing we have to remember is we can add the unique constant after we added the record because it makes sense, right? Otherwise, before that, they're all empty, right? So how can we add that constant before we add values? Now that we've added values into it, now we can say this. It's kind of catching the cat by the tail. I should put that before I insert so that I don't insert duplicate values. But doing that is causing problems.
Doing that was creating problems, right? Yeah, this unique thing is causing problems, but I mean, you can still make it work, but. Come on, guys, this doesn't need that much time, does it? Yeah, give me 1 second. I just am checking something that.
I can make unique work, you can make it work too, and I've given you enough hints now.
Okay, so when is it? When you change it? ID becomes inputs first after I create the fit. So here say primary key and after primary key say first, the root first. That's how you become the first position. And now to bring after the ID, we'll use the word after when you put line. So when you have it completed, it will have more restrictions to it. It was a not null field and so on. So take care that you have all the conditions. All new fields should be null.
Yeah.
So you have to add not null also. But first say not null. And then say after. Where I have to place it after the? Right.
I'm again saying if you can't handle the unique part, forget about it. It's not the end of the world. It could be a couple of marks. But don't mess up the other things. So it's not difficult, but still. You have to put 2 and 2 together, guys. Maybe I should make you think more than.
It's almost 3:15. You've taken almost 15 minutes, 20 minutes more than last time. What is it? You can't run them individually because you alternate them and so on. Run the whole script. Run the whole script. Run the whole script. You're running and then you're just running one statement. It may be causing problem because it was already running. Okay, so what is it? Unknown column price and field list. In update. Why are we setting the price? Price doesn't need to be changed. It was already given. You already had it for how much? Yeah, but how does it matter? This is already in. You already have this value inside it. Now all that is doing is remove the zero. It will automatically do it with the right picture, with the right size. Oh,
Yeah, it's a different. So I have to-
okay. So now it is saying, now show me where it is. Oops, I didn't notice it. I thought the only difference was the 0.50. Okay, now where am I getting it?
I have to
Yes.
recording the height.
Okay, so we're saying, price. Did you change how much the price is? Is card ID already added?
No, RD.
Already added?
I can.
I don't know what is running. There's so much running here. Can you clear the window? Is there a way of clearing the window? No, that's not it. You kind of take this arrow, action option. So you can say email on open the map. There should be some way to right click on the output window and see if I can do. I want to clear this because I don't know from where your errors are coming. Is it coming from the previous time or this time? So bring your mouse to the slide, do a right click and do a right click here somewhere. Right click. Okay, so right click. This is right click. Okay, now run the whole thing. Run the script again. It's a lot of time. Okay, now check it. Okay, so your errors started here. Unless you take care of errors before it, you can check errors after. Okay? So one by one. Oh.
Submit, guys, submit. I've helped so many of you now. I didn't notice it. Somebody, I don't know how many of you noticed it, but that's okay. I mean, I'm not going to change the question. I saw that the price was different for one record. Just one. The price.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about after the decimal. You were talking about the price. Yeah, because I now see it is 1792 and there is a typo in the other one. It becomes 90. Okay. I'm thinking you're only talking about, oh, that has 2 places and that has 3. I'll do it as and whoever has done it because it's my typo, right? Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, good. Submit.
Name the file the same as before.
ICA 4, your name. It's on, the instructions are on Blackboard. There, that was a
I
typo.
already submitted it with another.
That's okay, doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'll take that, don't worry.
I have a question about this.
You haven't
because-
even used the right thing. Percentages cannot be used with between. I've given some marks to people at least who've used it without percent. Percentages cannot be used in between. Between cannot
But
use
it
percent.
worked.
No, it won't work. There's the result is wrong. That's the first thing.
Why? No.
No, yes. Do you want me to show you? There are no results. I've still given marks to people at least who haven't used percentages. Okay, so what was your
Tatiana.
yeah, I have to look it up, but of course I should have it. This was assignment 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, so did it come by your name? Tatiana, T-I-T. There you are, right? I'll just change the name so that it's easy to find. Wait, don't worry. I'm opening it up
No,
and
no.
don't worry. Here, there it is, right? Now I
Yeah,
want to
okay.
open it up and show you that it doesn't run. That's my aim, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, so we are summer 2017, submissions of 20. Oh, come on. Submissions, I cancel. Where are you opening up? So, relational database, submissions 2017. No, not you. Assignment submissions. What is it called? There it is, assignment submissions. ICA2 and something to do with Titiana. There you are. Okay, which script is this? Which one? Okay, so let's run the whole script first. Which question is this? 8.
Number 8.
Okay, let me just run it. The
Okay.
script runs. Yeah, wait. Wait. Give me 1 minute, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now to show you what you got as answer 8. Okay,
This one.
this one. That's what you say you got, right?
From G to O.
Where is oh my gosh? The answer is wrong. It's incorrect. Because that's incorrect. Okay, and we talked about this in the class already. I've already done this solution in class. Were you here?
But between it doesn't have to include it or what?
What does it say? Whose names begin with the letters G through O. So it
Okay.
should start with a G with the, and you've kind of written it yourself. You know it what you're doing, but you're not doing it the right way.
Okay,
That's the
how did I
problem.
have
Okay,
to do
so this
that?
is what you have to do. One thing you have to remember is between is automatically greater than equal to and less than equal to. You don't use percentages in your betweens. Okay, so you will say between. No, you can. You say G. Okay, and you say P. Right. So now all drinks that start with O will also be included. But what will happen? This drink called P will also be included. Right. So what do you do? And you say. That's all you add to it. Don't include the drink order. Okay, so now the first thing is you do not use percentages in between. That's entirely wrong. That's one, but that's okay, right? The second thing is when you say between G and O, you're saying greater than equal to G, and you're saying less than or equal to O. So everything gets included, G, H, I, everything. But you stop at O. So oh my gosh will not get included. The percentage doesn't help because it's not to be used in between. Does that prove that it is cannot be used? Okay. So where do you stop at O? But now I want to include all drinks that start with oh my gosh, oh my, whatever. So I say go until P. But now what happens with this problem is that I get an extra drink which is called P. So I just remove it,
Yeah, I understand it.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Or the other way, if you remember, I gave the solution was you can use the left function on your drink name. Pick up the leftmost one character and say that it is between G and so pick up the leftmost character of your drink name. If it is between G and O, you're okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
So it runs, but it doesn't give the right answer as also.
Okay.
Okay?
Excuse me, about my Java project.
Okay. When was it due?
It was in class.
Guys, submit. I'm not taking it now. Submit. If you haven't submitted by now, I'm not accepting it. It's 3:20, right? It doesn't require more than an hour. Believe me, it doesn't. And if you don't know what you're doing, you've had it. It's enough. I've given you enough time. It's 20 minutes beyond. Anything that comes after 3:20, I'm not accepting it. It's up to you.
So it was the original one. It's showing the 2:43 p.m.
Double click inside it. Show me the source inside it.
So
same time 4:25, and this one is 4:11.
How come 4:25? We don't
Oh,
finish
you
at.
give me extra time. We the class finished at 4 o'clock. And
Okay,
you give
now
us extra time.
submit it in front of me on Blackboard, this one, right?
How where to submit?
Same as you submitted before. Zip up those two files and submit. Right now in front of me.
Folder or just the two files?
What did I ask you to submit? You tell me.
Files.
Sophia, how difficult is it to follow instructions? And I'm giving you a friendly warning. You can discuss this amongst your friend. If I again see any kind of cheating or talking in my class, I'm taking it. Don't do it. Just do your work. It's better to get less marks than to get 0 or be thrown out. Submit, guys. Please submit. Submit. You have to learn to do things on time. You can't tell your employer, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Can't happen.
So I'm starting a new one.
Yeah, start a new one. Just put your name. Don't name it. Okay, it doesn't matter. You're doing a new submission. Yeah.
Let me open one time. Check which one.
Once you open, once you open it, the dates will change, and once the date changes, then I don't take it. So be careful.
Okay.
If the dates were same, which it was, I'm taking it. Otherwise, of course, I don't take it, right? I don't know whether you worked on it or not. And this can't happen every time. Keep in mind. Yeah, that's okay. Sometimes mistakes can happen, but now you should be careful in future. You can't give me a file and then say I gave the wrong file. I'm not believing you every time. You know what I mean? Things can be done. Everything can be done.
There you go.
Okay. I'll mark it whenever I get time now. Okay. Sometime today or tomorrow. Okay.
Sorry for that.
That's okay. No big deal. I'm okay with things like that. Sorry?
This is the file I put.
That's okay. If you put it, it will come to me. Don't worry. If I don't get it, I'll email you. Okay, I'm closing the submission now. If you haven't submitted, it's up to you guys. I said 20, now it's 25. How long does it take to submit, guys?